Usually when you get hired for a film as a composer, they don't even address the issue until after the director is already editing the film. My relationship with Wes has been such that each film we've gotten involved closer to the very beginning. And as a matter of fact, on this particular film, Life Aquatic, he was sitting on this couch here with a laptop working on the script still, and I was writing music for the film at the same time. Because, for instance, there's a composer inside the movie. We were talking about what kind of music he would write. The situation with Teams of Sioux, how they had fallen considerably in the last, 20, 25 years. And so they were still using a lot of the same gear. They're editing on an old-style chem table, and almost everybody's gone over to computers now. And so it's almost like an outdated technique. They're recording on what looks like analog multi-track quarter-inch wide tape. Those machines are all sitting in pawn shops now. And, he's the composer Wolodarski, he's using old synths like Casios from that time period. They haven't upgraded yet, he hasn't upgraded in 25 years probably on his recording gear. We were talking about bands that were happening then, and Wes was talking about this New York band called Suicide that was around back then, and I knew them. Devo played on the same bill with them at Max's Kansas City in New York City, and I was a big fan of them. I thought they were great. Everything was very simple. 2 or 3 synths and a drum machine and an Echoplex, went a long way in their band.
We could pipe in some music.
And so, I was playing things for Wes, and he kept saying, make it sound more like a Casio. He wanted it to sound, he had a very specific sound in mind, and so I went through a lot of kind of old retro sounds and started pulling out analog synthesizers from the basement here. I have a collection that, of course it dates back to Devo, days, my first Moog synthesizer I got like in 1970 or something. So we started pulling synths out of the basement and setting them up around the room. A long table that went the whole length of the room, and there was a row of synths from the 70s like Oberheims, ARPs, Mini Moogs, EMLs, EMSs, and we just pulled a bunch of stuff out and picked the ones that we liked the best. I always loved film, and I always loved the music in films. When I was younger, in the 70s, I didn't have a VHS player, but I would take my answering machine and I would put 90-minute tapes in it so I could record the soundtrack off of my TV of films. So unfortunately, I'd end up with commercials too, but you'd get to hear, you could close your eyes and you'd be like watching the film. It was when Devo signed a stupid record deal. When I started getting offers from people to score things, commercials and TV shows and films, I was kind of like, well, why not? I think what attracted me to film scoring and TV scoring was the immediacy of it. My first TV scoring job was Pee-wee's Playhouse. I was getting an episode of TV sent to me on a Tuesday. I would score it on Wednesday and record it. I'd write all the music on Wednesday and then record everything on Thursday. They'd have it on Friday morning back in New York, and we'd watch it on TV on Saturday. So there was something about that immediate turnaround that's what initially sucked me into it. But I know why for me it seemed to be an okay fit, because a lot of musicians come out of bands, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work trying to get into commercials, TV, or film, but it really involves a collaborative effort, and I think my band, Devo, was a collaborative effort. It was 2 sets of brothers, and it didn't matter who wrote the basis for a song. If it was my brother, Jerry, or myself, we all had a say in it, and everybody had a voice in the band, and we were used to, like, working together for something bigger. So the idea of working with a director was appealing to me and was not foreign. And the nice thing is that the 2 Bobs from Devo, my brother and Jerry's brother, both work here every day. My brother Bob scores Rugrats for a number of years now, and he's done some films of his own, but he's always over in the next door every day working on his stuff. And Bob Casale is our engineer for both of us, and so it's kind of nice to have this relationship with guys that you started working with in 1972. So I'd like over 30 years ago that we first started, starting towards Devo, and we've been working together that long, and it still continues. I'm going to show you like 10 bars out of this cue from Royal Tannenbaums. This cue is Angelica Houston and Gene Hackman walking in the park. This is just an early sketch.
You always put them first, didn't you?
I tried to. Lately, I feel like maybe I didn't do such a great job.
God damn it, don't do that to yourself.
I just found this thing in my computer where I could take a score and make a musical palindrome by flipping the score upside down, and so you could play the score backwards. Wes and I took that cue and turned it backwards for Life Aquatic, and it's actually the same notes if you just were to look in a mirror and read the paper off of a mirror and play what you were seeing in a mirror. So that first bar is the very end of the last bar we just heard, so it's like...
The Belafonte was a long-range sub-hunter during the Second World War, which we bought from the U.S. Navy for $900,000.
We changed instruments and made them a little more electronic, but you still get the same kind of upness to it, the kind of light and happiness that you have in the Royal Tannenbaum cue. It was interesting because it was a little less predictable of a melody played in reverse. It not only worked, but it actually set a tone for the music that was going to get written in Life Aquatic, because we were looking for slightly unexpected rhythms and phrasings for melodies. Although with Rushmore and Tannenbaums, we've